Public Q&A presents AskReddit question. How do you get over someone? You'll try a million things, but the only real answers are time and / or eternal sunshine of the spotless minding them. Just watched this movie. Such a great film that I took too long to watch. Maybe you watched it already, and you just eternal sunshined yourself. I feel like eventually we'll get to a point where we'll collectively all go out for an evening of fun and snacks, and having movies removed from our brains, so we can be sold more tickets to the same movies, without the cumbersome and expensive step of having to rewrite and reshoot the movie first. Hollywood would make so much money on that technology. This is my all-time favorite movie. I keep spotting new things in every rewatch. It was way too ironic for me that my heartbreaker loved that movie. Me too. Well, we all certainly dated the same person. Trying to get over someone, and this movie made me ugly cry. You're always gonna carry that weight. Time will strengthen your back. It's been 2 years, I still think about it every single day. I am unsure if this makes sense, but now it hurts on the inside. I still dream about her, still wish I could have done something to save the relationship. In my eyes she was the love of my life, and I am honestly scared that I'll never get over her. I wish I could stop thinking about her for just one day, just one. Nobody knows about it, I suffer alone. Same. I fucked it up, though. All my fault. It makes the weight that much harder to bear. Hey man, I commented a little further up, and it might help, but I'll reiterate here. I was a fuck up too, toxic and bad. But you can always change. You can't go back and fix what is already broken, but moving forward you can apply what you've learned to new relationships and be better. Take what you learned from your past and better yourself. Be the person you regret not being now, and you'll find love. You should tell someone, dude. I broke up with someone I was still in love with because it wasn't healthy, and mentioning stuff about her helped me carry the burden easier. Beautifully stated. You're gonna carry that weight. Really powerful line from Cowboy Bebop. Boy, gotta carry that weight. Carry that weight a long time. Don't listen to sad songs or the songs you both like, it will scratch your heart every time. Edit, thanks for my first award. Good thing my ex had shit taste in music, heyo. Edit, thanks for the showering of gold kind red-eyeder. My ex, granted I got over him fast because he wasn't a good person to me, listened to Panic at the Disco and 21 Pilots. There was no music I listened to that reminded me because I don't listen to either of those. I think it's very important to build new memories that do not have that person in them. Otherwise we always tend to pine over every place, song, activity associated with them if you've been together for long. It's important to build new memories, go to different places, find a new hobby/activity, and keep your mind involved in that. This is fantastic advice that worked for me. Instead of gloomily listening to our favorite song, I instead went on a trip with my mates, and put that song as part of a road trip playlist. It's my song now. Soon enough you'll associate new memories with the old song/activity, and it's great. Yeah, I couldn't resist playing, it's too late to apologize. Based on your other responses in this thread, the sensation is still quite raw. That's okay. But do not lose yourself in this feeling, it has the potential to consume you entirely. Don't listen to songs you shared together like E_A_NA/U/E_A_NA said. Destroy every connection you have to them. You will be tempted to reach out, which will only wound you more while you're hurting. I know a little too much about this one, haha. You can pull through this, but it will take time. Perhaps a lot of time. Your focus now should be you. Be the best you. Love yourself. You can't paint right now. That's okay, maybe you'll feel like painting in a few days. This shit will hurt for a bit, but you will emerge as a stronger person. I hope you find things to do that make you happy, and lift you up in this hurtful time. Life's too short. Ninja edit, fudge. I suck at formatting LMAO. Stop doing that, it's infinity well. That's tough cause every song on my playlist she also likes. Try Pepper from Butthole Surfers. I don't mind the sun sometimes, the images it shows, I can taste you on my lips and smell you in my clothes. Wait a minute, that might not be a good song suggestion after all. And now I'll be singing it all day. Change the playlists, dude, listen to songs that's new to you. Thanks, I will. This is just the first time this has happened for me, and it stopped because we didn't think we could do distance. Is it stupid that I wanted to try? Distance is hard, you both have to commit, and put forth effort. It's not stupid that you wanted to try. Relationships are a 100/100 thing. At least she was honest and didn't lead you on, and then possibly cheat on you. Hang in there, it can be rough, but it can get good also. Here is a playlist of summer music and probably a style you haven't heard a lot before. I promise it will make you dance, and you might feel a bit better. https://www.youtube.com/playlist. List equals PLDGJ3STCTD 7th SCOEBC5 NI_0 VNWGFZ5G. During my most painful breakup, I had to ditch a lot of my favorites for nearly a year. I know that feeling, it really sucks. It's a great time to discover new music though. Until it's not anymore. Trust me, it will happen. Hey friend, I recently got through a breakup myself, and I've found the best thing right now is keeping myself distracted, and with people, Discord mainly ATM. We've been playing D&D and Pokemon, and they've been both really fun to get into. The Bends by Radiohead went to the back of my CD collection for a good 3 years, sad face. Whilst the context isn't there, the chorus of the song I find particularly harrowing during a breakup. Depending on how it's inferred in the moment, it can trigger both anger and despair. That's without mentioning Street Spirit, High and Dry, Fake Plastic Trees. All emotionally manipulative. Sometimes I fucking hate Radiohead, and it takes me a while to realize that's all internalized. If I persevere though, I am rewarded by Black Star. I don't know why, but that track works on me like an opiate. But sad songs are my favorite. Drinking won't help either. I just surrounded myself with 5 of my best friends for months. Ended up marrying one, we have 3 kids. The ex-wife is hardly a blip on the radar anymore. Play it out in your mind. Have the full unabashed conversation like that person was standing right in front of you. Talk to them. Remember why you aren't together. If it was mutual, then this usually works. If it's one-sided and your heart is broken, embrace it. Embrace the pain. Remember, if there isn't anything you can do about the situation, the only thing you can change is the way you react to it. Amor fati. Love your fate. If this person you wish to get over has passed on, and everything in the world is muted gray, dull, and terrible, then in my experience, getting over is not something you should really even attempt. That person, as all people, are never truly gone from this world until they are forgotten. It is your duty to live your life as best you can, never forgetting them, but also living as they would have wanted you to. Go on adventures, pet dogs, eat strange foods, read books that challenge your beliefs, grow as a person, and maybe one day find love again. Knowing full well that they would approve. I'm 40 now, and it seems the older I get, the easier it becomes to walk away from people. I've met the love of my life 3 different times, I've loved women without ever telling them, I've been rejected, cheated on, dumped, ghosted, married and divorced. I've had one-night stands, and 12-year relationships. The only thing I can tell you is that the people we chose to love, leave pieces of themselves within us. Oftentimes, you don't even realize it until you have the strange desire to go to an IKEA on a Saturday afternoon, and have no idea why until you walk in and feel the nostalgia of walking around with someone, laughing at odd chairs, and wondering why this insignificant thing meant so much. That IKEA comment hits hard. I am a month out of a breakup and feel like every action I take was influenced by my recently broken relationship. Hard to feel happy doing anything that we used to enjoy together without getting upset. Those IKEA words. I used to go with her to IKEA, and we had so much fun. And now thinking about IKEA makes me sad because I know there isn't at the moment, or maybe for a long time, any person that could give me the same joy by just visiting IKEA. Poor IKEA. Losing business over asshole exes. Poor IKEA. Losing business over asshole exes. It would be funny but sad if IKEA gave a free plate of their famous Swedish meatball for anybody who recently broke up with their significant other who used to enjoy going to IKEA together. IKEA Heartbreak Meatball Special. Return with a heavy heart, but leave with a full belly. I can't tell what would grow faster. IKEA sales or people's stomachs. I'm in the same boat. I drove past IKEA the day after a serious breakup and it destroyed me. I'm in a healthier place a month later, but still can't really bring myself to go there. We'd been so recently before the breakup too. Crazy how you can go from normal to broken apart in such a short time. From texting and talking every day to being strangers. Life can be unfair. Husband of 26YRS walked out 8 WKS ago. I don't have anyone I can ask what's that film with the guy I like anymore. Of all the things I miss, it is that intimate knowledge of someone that breaks my heart the most. This, and the thought of getting to know anyone else or them getting to know you on that level seems impossible and exhausting. Totally agree. We had known each other since we were 15, so 2/3 of my life has been spent with him. The advert for the older person's dating app leaves me horrified. I am kinda in your same boat. You are never prepared for the loneliness. Or that is what I am struggling with. I'm here if you want to talk or cry to someone who is going through it also. My ex died during a mental breakdown. Weird feeling of guilt and panic as time passes. Every time I try to have a conversation with him in my head, I feel like I didn't know him enough, and I feel bad for not knowing. Holy shit, that must be hard. Sorry to hear that. Same here, my ex was murdered in the middle of a bad mental episode he was going through. I am sorry to hear that. You have my condolences. One thing I'd recommend, try having the conversation out loud. You can use your mind to play everyone who isn't you, but there's some inherent value in speaking your own part out loud. I remember being 22, stupid, and furious after a relationship ended. It was easier to be angry than it was to be sad, so I really dove into that rage. I called that ex every mean name in the book, slung mud about her to friends and random strangers, left not-so-cryptic messages about how much I hated her on Reddit where I knew she'd find them, all sorts of crappy stuff. In my mind, it was easy to justify everything. I hurt really bad, and she'd clearly and intentionally caused me a lot of emotional harm by breaking up with me, and then getting together with someone else too darned quickly, and proving that I'd never meant anything to her. I drove a lot for work, and after literal months of going to bed, and waking up angry, with a woman I hadn't seen since I graduated college, I decided to finally talk about it out loud to the empty passenger's seat. And trying to call her a cruel bitch, and worse, it stuck in my throat. Because it was a damn lie. We were both kids pretending to be adults wrapping up college. She wanted out because I wasn't a particularly good boyfriend to her. I was obsessed with sex, didn't have much by way of a future planned out or ambitions, dismissed her when she talked about stuff that bothered her, played too many video games. There was a laundry list of reasons why most people wouldn't have wanted to date my crusty ass in college. I'd ignored all of them because it was easier to pretend that she was just pure evil than it was to be sad, and to acknowledge that I needed to change and improve if I ever wanted to have happy and healthy relationships again. Hashing it out with yourself out loud forces that sort of honesty, and makes you examine things a little more clearly. You know when you're lying to yourself, it's just that sometimes you need the extra kick of having to say it. My person. It is like you just canned what I went through in a nutshell. That part when you said you lied to yourself. So true. And to others like you had to solidify that lie to make you feel better. Fuck. We can all been pretty bad human beings subconsciously. The real test of our nature is to really hope the best for their future. Well, I do anyways. Not much to add, but I really liked the way this comment was written. Like reading a mini story, having a shitty day, and it made it a bit better. Exactly. Such a great comment. Beautifully said. Thanks for sharing. I'm several months out from a relationship that lasted years, and I totally feel you. I recently realized that I had developed habits solely because they made that person happy, or bought just normal things like a specific brand of bread lol just because it was what they liked. It's so crazy how people weave themselves into you, and eventually you're doing things that remind you of them. A big thing for me was that I always talked about stuff as if me and her were a collective unit. I constantly used words like we, our, us, etc., and now I'm having to make myself say stuff like my apartment, or what I did this weekend. This is an incredible comment. Would award if I could but take my upvote, damn it. There's going to be good days, and there's going to be bad days. I used to convince myself that I didn't think of him anymore, but the truth was I thought of him every day, until I didn't. People say you need time, but you also need patience. Just when I thought I was finally getting over him, I started to dream of him. I would wake up in tears because of how angry I was that I was doing so good on moving on, yet all it took was one 15-second dream to pull me back 20 steps. But in order to move on, you have to let yourself feel every emotion and have patience. This is exactly what is happening to me right now. It is frustrating. I was doing better, now I dream about her every night since a few nights, and it makes each start of my day a sad one. I improve during the day, and then the cycle repeats itself. I want to reach out and talk every morning, but I know it would only make it worse for me. I held myself back from texting until one day I didn't. The conversation quickly made me realize whoever I was dreaming about isn't the same person as them, the person in those dreams was my idea of them. Haven't dreamt about them or felt anything towards since. I also keep a list of things that led to things ending that I keep referring back to, every time I start feeling something. I love this response. So true. I was having dreams about beautiful possibilities between my ex and I. But then last night I had a more realistic dream about him, where we got back together, and it was a nightmare, a sign lol. Also the list is smart because when you miss someone all you focus on are the good memories in my opinion. When you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. BoJack Horseman. Obviously. This show is a masterpiece, lots of good quotes. Damn, I am re-watching it, fuck it. The conversation quickly made me realize whoever I was dreaming about isn't the same person as them, the person in those dreams was my idea of them. I have dreamt of you there with the sun in your hair, and your fingers entangled in mine. I have dreamt of your smile, and I've dreamt for a while of a painting, a picture divine. I have dreamt of the way, and the words that you'll say, but I've learned from those dreams of before. You exist in my mind in a picture designed in a dream, just a dream, nothing more. This is outstanding and so on point, one of my favorites of yours so far. Good day. You exist in my mind in a picture designed in a dream, is a beautiful line. I am wiping tears away. This crushed my heart because of how it exactly describes my feelings. It spoke everything I have been trying to say for far too long. I experienced this. I built up this fairy tale idea in my head of what this person was like, and it made it hard to see that they weren't like that at all. I'm the type of person who overthinks the past, and I still wonder from time to time if the fairy tale version was real, no matter how much I remind myself that it wasn't. I am also in this same exact spot. Dream of her like every other night, and I never usually remember my dreams. All I want to do is text her. Worst part for me, I have to work with her every day. Not easy putting it aside. Dream of her like every other night, and I never usually remember my dreams. There's nothing more I like to do than drift to sleep and dream of you. I think of you, and how you smile, and what you do, and for a while, there's only you, and only me, and nowhere else I'd rather be. But mornings break and nights move on. And then I wake. And then you're gone. Damn Sprague, this is gonna bring a lot of tears. To my homies and peeps out there struggling, just know this is temporary. It gets better. You get better. You move on. You'll move on. Ugh Sprague, how you gonna do me like this? Oh no. I just felt every heartbreak of my life come back. I caught the freshest Sprague I've ever got. Love your work. Was reading The Sun Also Rises and drinking, and then read this. Ouch, my heart, sad face. I am in the exact position. We weren't in a relationship. She was my best friend, but she was so important to me. She supported me more than anyone, and now she doesn't even text and asked me to not to message. I am in this school project with her, and now I have to work knowing what has happened. The more I try to not think about her, the more I cry. You/Dangoti Eskazoku, you're absolutely right. We need to accept and face it. You also need to not put her on a pedestal. Think about why she was important, if it was actually true, or just what you thought it was. Once patience and time does its thing, you just move on and live, smiley face. Prime example of why you don't shit where you eat. It could have been worse. You could have a kid together. Believe me, it's not fun. This is absolutely the best answer. Yes, you need time and it will take time, but a lot of people tend to repress what they're feeling and expect that those feelings will fade on their own. And sometimes they do. But in my personal experience, if you allow yourself to actually feel those feelings, they go away a lot faster. Don't get mad at yourself because it's not happening fast enough. Sometimes the feeling never goes away, but time really does help. Well, I was in love with a girl since I was 13. I told her when I was 22. We dated for a while, but she moved to a different city, so she broke up with me. We kept in touch since we already had a 9-year friendship, but I continued to be in love with her till I was 27. That feeling was always there. Seeing her with someone else was sad, but I think I got really used to it as well. I dealt with it really well after a point in time. Then I met someone else. The girl I was in love with asked me if I want to marry her. I said no. So I said no to a girl I was in love with for 15 years. A girl I would have married in a heartbeat. Life is strange, man, and nothing is ever permanent. It's alright to feel these things, and time can be slow, but it does its job. Well, at least you know you are alive and you can feel such strong emotions. Not a lot of people are capable of love. Good job, Op. We all feel like we're so in love with our past relationships, then someone new comes along and we just poof, move on like magic. Then we join a cult and become druids. Yes, those dreams. I hate it. Just when I have no had those feelings in a long time, they come and it all falls down. For more than a year, I was tormented by dreams about her. I would always wake up feeling sad, empty and lonely. Especially if the dream was about her being by my side again, and everything was just fine, and then wake up and realize I'll probably never see her again. For me, the hardest thing is the finality of it. Like we will never be together, and won't have that connection, and that's it. No change, no compromise, it's just life. And so damn hard to accept. Man, I've been thinking about this, but could never put it in words. You nailed it, the worst feeling. This is the part I'm struggling with after 5 months. I know part of me thinks we could still end up together, and I'm trying to accept this. I hear that, 2 years on after a 10-year relationship, and I was figuring my shit out. Then she messaged me the other day asking how I was. Fucking head trip. The last sentence is basically a short description of ACT, acceptance commitment therapy, and truly what will help you, accept your feelings and let them be. Do not try to avoid your feelings by drinking, ignoring them, working more, doing anything to distract you from these feelings. Once you let them be, you'll see that they are only feelings and can't hurt you. Then they'll slowly vanish. Read about ACT, Russ Harris, The Happiness Trap. My ex is moving cities next month, and I went to meet her for a drink yesterday, after not seeing her for a year. Brought up a lot of old feelings, but it was honestly good for me. We didn't end on bad terms, we just drifted apart over the years, and it was like 2 housemates living together, not a couple. I went through the same dreams too, doesn't feel like it will, but it gets easier. You cannot begrudge anyone their happiness, and if that means apart from you, then so be it. I feel like Marcus Aurelius writing this, but you know what I mean. You'll be fine, smiling face with smiling eyes. This is me now, unfortunately. I at first got upset. I was angry at myself. For being so affected, for dreaming, and for having no controls. But I guess it's necessary. Now I wake up from my dream feeling so lonely, broken, bleak. Times I would just continue being in bed crying, but I think I get stronger day by day when it happens. Had the dreams every night for the last 2 months. They're finally starting to subside. I am still figuring that out too, but here are what helped me in the process. Sit with your feelings. Acknowledge it. There will be days where you just want to cry and do nothing in bed. Let yourself grieve and cry. As many times as it takes. Try to remove your ex from your social media feed. If you don't want to block them just yet, hide their posts/stories. This includes Spotify if you both have it. Limiting their visibility on your feed would reduce the unnecessary trigger points. If you don't want to delete your chats, archive them. This helped me a lot because I wanted to reconnect back so bad, but I know it won't yield any good outcome. So anytime I want to reconnect back, I made it hard for myself cause I need to go for the extra clicks. Also, if you really want to reconnect and know you shouldn't, type what you want to say to your ex but don't send. Do something else like watch a YouTube video, have a meal, read. Then come back to that text. Usually that urge subsides for me, and I became more logical after walking away from it. Remove photos that you took together out of your sight. Take down social media posts that you had with your ex. I couldn't bring myself to delete my whole year worth of photos in my phone, so I put them in my hard drive, which I don't usually reach out for unless I want to back up stuff. In a way, move the photos from your phone to some other drive that you don't usually see. When you can, pick up a new activity or pick up what you have dropped before. Could be as simple as researching on topics you were once interested in. Reading, watching shows that you never watched but said you would, go to a cafe. This is a hard one, but I realize is required for me to outgrow my ex. To consciously keep letting go. Over and over again. It's gonna hurt cause random times a memory will come up from a simple action like going to the store, coffee, cooking, etc. This can happen as frequent as your brain wants it. When that feeling comes, go back to point 1. Then tell yourself that you are letting go of that. Let go of the expectations you have had for the future. Let go of that memory. TLDR, sit with your feelings and cry as much as you need to. Remove your ex from any feed that you see, including photos, chats, social media, items too even. Do something new or something that you said you would but never got to do. Consciously letting go in your mind. That last bullet point though, it's the hardest and most heartbreaking one. I fucking hate it, but you're right. It's what we have to do. Letting go of the future I thought we would have is the hardest thing ever. We must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned, so as to have the life that is waiting for us. Joseph Campbell. This was the final piece to my triumph over my past. Time heals all wounds. I think there's at least some truth to that. I couldn't get over things for the longest time. But I kept distracting myself with work, self-improvement, and new hobbies, like picking up music more and more. Again, it hurts at first. A lot. But the mind is a powerful thing. I can talk to this person just as a platonic friendship now, after years. See what they're up to, laugh about things. It just takes time and some effort. I hope I can reach that point eventually. So it's good to know it's possible. Part of me still hopes that we might eventually get back together. That's what makes it difficult. But I guess with time that will stop as well. I'm in the same boat here. The hope makes it a bit agonizing and painful. We'll make it through with time. Stay strong. There's a really great episode of Midnight Gospel that touches on how hope is really what fucks you, and to be happy is to accept reality as it is. Highly recommend that whole series actually, it's pretty short, and every episode is awesome. That breaks me the most to know we could but we never would anymore, sad face. That's how the mind tricks you, it never could because it didn't. You create another version of them with their mind. Also, if you really want to reconnect and know you shouldn't, type what you want to say to your ex but don't send. Do something else like watch a YouTube video, have a meal, read. Then come back to that text. Usually that urge subsides for me, and I became more logical after walking away from it. Really damn good advice. I did something kind of like this, but unfortunately I was drinking so much my state of mind couldn't keep it together to stick to this and would send texts. But sober. Technique was really helpful. Best bet when drunk or unsure, if you have the self-control not to click send, go old school and handwrite a letter. There is something therapeutic about physically writing that helps release emotions. When you finish, toss the paper. Or put it in a drawer. Or burn it. Whatever makes you feel better, really. Thank you for this. I broke up with my boyfriend 3 days ago, and I need this so much. He lied to me more than once, and he hurt me a lot, couldn't even build up the courage to break up with me, twisted his words during the argument, so that I say I can't do this anymore, and he said okay. It took me a moment to realize it. I asked, so that's it? He said that's what you want. I didn't want to break up though. I was tired of just me talking about it, and him not saying anything. As if he already decided we're done. If so, then just say it. I keep telling myself that I did the right thing, but it's still difficult. I am gonna try these things, maybe it will become easier. I would actually say block them no matter what. I've tried just hiding them, and frankly, it's too tempting to go look at their page and see what they're up to, and trust me, a lot of times you don't want to know what they're up to, even if it's as simple as them going out with friends and looking like they're having fun. It's going to hurt when you're at home and miserable. Just block them. I've told my exes, hey, I blocked you on social media, it hurts too much to see you all the time, and every single one of them understood perfectly. I've even added them back after time passed, and I was sure I was over it. It was hard enough to get over someone before social media existed, now it's absolute torture. For me, the second point was key. For any serious relationship, it's pretty much impossible to stay friends, so if it's over, cut them out. It feels a bit mean, but ultimately the day you finally block/delete them will be a good one, and will help you forget about how shit it made you feel. I agree. It feels a bit liberating when I deleted my chat history with him finally, though the hurt is still there. It's possible to be friends again. Only if you both have truly gotten over each other. If you can genuinely be happy for them and their relationship without wanting them, you can be friends with them. This is true, but at the same time, it can still be potentially detrimental to truly moving forward with someone else. My wife and I agreed to keep our past lovers in the past, and honestly, it's the best thing we could have done. I realized I don't want or need to be friends with this person. Sure, they will always be a part of me and the path I took, and the same with my wife and her exes, but there's no value in remaining friends when I have my family, wife and kids, to focus that time and energy on. My wife and children deserve that part of me. This other person had their chance. But I get it, some people do it, I chose not to and highly recommend it. This I like. Tears and time. It takes a while, but you will eventually figure out whether you actually miss them, or the idea of them. Okay, so you've figured out that you miss them, not just the idea of them. What's next? That was my thought too. What happens if you genuinely miss them, and not just the idea of them? I know the answer, I just don't like it. Time. Sure, keep doing the things that make you happy as others suggested, but that doesn't mean completely distracted. You need time to think about it, as it's the only thing that'll eventually get you to move forward. It's painful, sometimes it seems unbearable. But that's what it's going to take. Stop trying too hard to get over. When I had my first breakup, I tried too hard to distract myself and everything kept reminding me of her. The point being, if you feel sad, it's okay. If you miss them, it's okay. If you feel jealous seeing them with someone else, it's okay. If I could go back and do one thing differently was self-love. I did not love myself enough and kept thinking about what I could have done better. Now I am old enough to realize that relationship is two people, and you can't keep it together just by yourself. It has already been suggested here. Love yourself more. Get healthy, fit, or learn a new hobby. Do something you always wanted to do but were too preoccupied to do before. Now I am old enough to realize that relationship is two people, and you can't keep it together just by yourself. This. So much this. Smiley face. I'm reading these replies with interest. Today would have been our 14-year anniversary if he hadn't ended it last year. I think it's so hard because I'm so close to his family and still see them. I can't cut them out of my life, and yet it means I'll always have reminders of him. I don't want to find someone else. I'm never letting myself be destroyed again. I just want to get over him. Edit. Thank you everyone for your kind words. I know I'll be okay. I've got a great brother and sister who look out for me. I'm very lucky. The reason I am close to his family was because he worked away a lot, and I saw more of them than he did. After 13 years they consider me part of their family. Edit 2. Thank you so much to whoever gave me the award. It's my first ever one, so I've got the warm and fuzzies. It's made my day. Oh man, this really bummed me out. Sad face, it will get better, I promise. I'm sorry. I've come out with my sister for brunch and a shopping trip, so I'll be fine. Thanks though, smiley face. I am glad you're keeping busy, it's the best thing to do in this situation. A brunch and a shopping trip is so good for the soul, haha. I hope you had mimosas. This comment terrifies me. I went through the worst breakup imaginable like 3 or 4 years ago, 4 years together, madly in love, best friends, no issues, etc. And then one day he ghosted me. He was like family to me, and suddenly one day he was gone and didn't even care enough about me to tell me. I spiraled into a horrible crippling depression. It was the worst thing I've ever been through. The loss of the person coupled with the denial of closure really fucked with me. It took months for me to actually realize it was even over. I just kept staring at my phone expecting him to call or text. Anyway, I eventually recovered. And shortly after I got over him, I met someone who is perfect. I love him so much, and he makes me so happy. But every once in a while I get this absolute panic that he'll disappear too one day. And he's worlds above my ex, infinitely better in every way. If he left me, I don't think I would ever recover. So I live with this bliss of my amazing relationship, and also this terror that I am making the biggest mistake ever by opening myself up this much. And I get it, that's the price we pay. It's better to love and lost than never love at all, etc. But my mental health is fragile, and I am just so afraid of how much power other people have over it. This is a whole different kind of sadness and trauma than a breakup, I think. It's not just a this isn't working, or we want different things, or even being cheated on. It's the trauma of being abandoned. Something similar happened to me too. We were together for 2 years and then nothing. We saw each other or talked every day. One day we were talking about future plans, and he was telling me how much he loved me, and then all of a sudden, nothing. Didn't hear from him for days, and the only reason I think he finally did contact me was because I was legitimately worried about him, and called his brother to ask if he was okay. He just didn't care about me anymore, and didn't want anything to do with me. That was it. Nothing else had changed. It was so heartless, and it left me really fucked up because I couldn't understand how I could misread a person or a situation so much. It was more than that though. I felt like I couldn't trust my own judgment or my own perception of relationships or interactions. How could I be so sure I was in a loving relationship only to be dropped so easily? Man. That one really fucked with me. It was a long time ago now, but I think that altered the way I approached all relationships after that. I kept relationships at a distance for a long time, and had a hard time letting people in because I always felt like I had no idea when a relationship could change at a drop of a hat. Time and active life. It helps to be socially, physically, intellectually, creatively active and growing. This builds new layers of experiences and memories which help bury the past, and gives rise to opportunities to recover from those old wounds, and move forward embracing new things, places, and people. Time alone isn't enough. The old hurt can remain close to the surface without piling on a well-lived life on top of what you want to leave behind. It's not a way to compartmentalize. It's more about embracing your own life, and living it rather than letting a trauma kneecap you, and causing it to hurt you in the long run. Bad things happen. But you have to keep moving forward to get to the other good things you shouldn't miss out on. I'm in my 50s, so I've gone through some of this and dealt with it both ways. Moving forward is the better way. Definitely active life too. This whole pandemic and quarantine thing set me back a couple of months. Same here. I can't go out and do anything. Can't meet new people, even if I am not looking for anything right now. It would be nice to at least get some practice in talking to new people again, maybe get a little crush on someone so I could momentarily forget about my ex. I need to be more active, but it's kind of like, what's the point if I am not meeting anyone anyway? I know I should be active for me and not other people, but the motivation is just not there. I just want to lay around and watch TV. I am not even into my hobbies at the moment. It has been 5 months since my broken engagement, his decision, not mine, and I feel like I should be further along in the healing process. Coronavirus is really putting a damper on that sad face. I think being active is just a great way to distract yourself. I got really into rock climbing the last time I had a bad breakup, and it was nice to have something to focus on that wasn't my sadness. But if you're not feeling it, it's okay to honor that too. My suggestion would be to make yourself do something active or pursue a hobby once a week or so, like do something Wednesday, where you make sure to do any sort of activity as long as it's not loafing on the couch. You might find you enjoy it, and it's easier to stick to if you have a set day of the week. I broke up with my ex in March, a week after lockdown started. It has been absolute torture, sat in the house on my own for months with nothing to do but dwell on it. We broke up in that same week. She told me she's been going with another guy for a couple of months. Couldn't have picked a worse time to do it. What a shitty year it has been. And summer's almost over, so I am not expecting anything more out of this year. Man, that sucks. Keep your chin up, mate. I've been doing my best to focus on bettering myself. I started working out, and I've been reading more, which has helped a bit, though it's incredibly difficult to motivate myself to do anything but get high and watch TV sometimes. I had a setback a few weeks ago where a friend convinced me to go to an outdoor bar for a couple of drinks, got there and saw my ex on a date. She doesn't even live in my city yet, is going on dates in my local area. Good times. I ended a 4-5-year relationship 2 weeks ago. She was spiraling downwards and taking me with her. I could see us both crashing and burning. I had to use the ejector seat. The second hardest thing I've ever had to do. 3 solid years of supporting her in all her issues. I was no longer a boyfriend. I was a full-time therapist, an emotional punch bag. It was exhausting. I know I did it for all the right reasons. But man, there's aspects of her I miss massively. I've never suffered from mental health issues, but I know I'm going through a phase of having to refresh my life. Especially now I'm a single guy living alone again. Eat healthily. It's so tempting to just shove a pizza in the oven, or eat yet another bowl of pasta with sauce from a jar. It's easy and takes no time. But I gotta force myself to not fall into that trap. Sleep discipline. Yeah, I can stay up until 1 a.m. every day playing Warframe, but that's not constructive. Limit myself to 2 hours gaming per day. Exercise, walking around the local park and using the outdoor gym equipment. So many benefits to this. Short term, it gets me out of the house, fresh air, trees, birds, stuff that should make anyone smile. Medium term, I get slightly fitter. Long term, I'll live longer if I'm not overweight. Edit. 4. Do at least one life organization thing per day. Today, I'm sorting out my council tax. Tomorrow, I'll sort out another bill. Non-zero days are successful days. Edit. 2. I was going to sort out my council tax, but I've lost my wallet. Honey, have you seen my way? Oh fuck. Edit. Found my wallet, sorted my council tax, walked around the park, showered and dressed for work, made a healthy packed lunch. Successful day. Thumbs up sign. Wait, there are people who don't suffer from mental health issues. Well put. Time is definitely the biggest factor. But also make sure to cut communication and remove them from any social media. Being friends with an ex is possible if that's what someone is going for, but people often make the mistake of trying to be friends right away, and it rarely works like that. The feelings have to fade away first. Edit. I'd also like to add that I've heard that it typically takes about half the length of the relationship to get over someone. If it takes you longer than that, that's perfectly fine. Don't feel like you must move on. Everyone heals at their own pace. I would also recommend against hooking up with someone new until you're actually ready. Most likely you'll just end up feeling worse, and you may end up hurting someone new as well because you weren't ready. Definitely. You might get to a place later where you can be friends, but spend some time away first. If that means being really angry for a while, or hating him/her, so be it. You'll get to a place where the extreme emotion fades, and then maybe you'll be a bit more objective, but it won't happen right away. I'm someone who takes a lot of time to process. Months, at least, and sometimes years. It ain't going to happen in 2 weeks. I know that's the answer, but man, I wish I wasn't going through that right now. It's a necessary feeling. Look mate, I got divorced 4 months ago, and here's what I've learned through lots of thought and pain. You won't. Don't let that discourage you though. The more it hurts, the longer it takes to get over someone, the more you know you cared about that person. I don't know your situation, so I can't be specific, but what helped me was not turning away from that pain. You need to face whatever fear, loss, anger, sorrow, pity, anxiety, or loneliness you feel, and question why you feel this way. What about this person do you miss? What did this person bring into your life or relationship that made you happy? And then you have to realize that all those same actions, thoughts, and feelings the other person gave you, you can self-generate that same energy. Just because they are gone, doesn't mean you can't learn from them, and become a better and happier person without them in your life. Be happy that it happened, not sad because it's gone. Ick if I'm rambling or not, I just want to help if I can. It should also be noted that 4 months after a marriage is not a long period of time. I hope life starts picking up for you though man, love. To add to this something I've learned with my recent breakup, 7-year relationship ended 7 months ago now, is you need to move on. But that doesn't mean you need to forget. I still love my ex and probably will for a long time. It's okay to have those memories and feelings, but the fact is she left and my life needs to continue. Also don't feel bad if you rebound. Don't get into a relationship since you'll need time to grieve and heal. But don't beat yourself up if you sleep with a random, or meet new women to hang out with. Hang out as friends, the attention of a woman, or guy for you gals out there, can help when you feel worthless and unattractive. Rebuild your life to be the one you want to live. You'll have hard days, and days you may stumble. But keep moving forward. If you need motivation, just think about should your paths ever cross in the future. You will want them to barely recognize you in your ever-consuming awesomeness. Both physically and mentally do your best to improve. It's been only 4 months. That is not a long time. There is a very high chance you will get over it all eventually. Best of luck. Accept the things you cannot change. That includes people. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And the strength to not punch them in the face. Serenity now. Insanity later. Imagine the ocean. In the middle of it, there's a wave. Its only purpose is get to the shore from the vast open sea. It roams and it roams towards the shore, but the shore is far. It takes time to reach it. However, it gets smaller and smaller as it approaches its destination, eventually subsiding into a soft little splash of water caressing the toes of the people on the beach. The feelings that you have towards this person, be it infatuation, attraction, love, get smaller as the time goes by. Now get on with your life. Read a book, go to work, go to school, or whatever it is you do. And one of these days you're gonna come to the realization, wow, I didn't have a single thought about this person yesterday. I hope this helps. My ex left me 3 weeks ago. 2 days before everything fell apart, he and I had contacted a realtor to look at purchasing a house, and we started actively planning our wedding. It's been a hard 3 weeks. The first week I pretty much laid in bed and didn't move. I cried a lot. The second week I still cried a lot, and it was still rough, but I did more than sleep and cry and drink. This last week I didn't really sleep at all because every night is just constant dreams of him, and I couldn't handle the pain. Yesterday, I didn't think of him. I realize that now. I slept through the night and woke up fresh with a better outlook today. Obviously talking about him now hurts, but it feels better today. Like maybe there's light on the horizon. It's funny, when we get heartbroken we act like there is limited option. How you get over someone? You don't. It becomes part of you. Like I said, world is full of option. You meet new people and then you realize that there is all kind of people. Some are going to hurt you, some going to save you, some going to be true friend, some going to envy you on your success, some going congrats you, etc. You don't know who is going play which character in your life. Like there is this quote by Rainer Maria. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror just keep going, no feeling is final. This comment needs to be high up there. Everything else is just cliché. Breakups are part of you. The quicker you start meeting new people the better. I know it's easy to say, but it's the only thing that's efficient and constant. I read a quote from a psychologist not all that long ago that said something like, make sure when you are replaying back all the memories in your head, that you play the whole documentary, and not just the highlight reel. I thought that was some good advice. It can be easy to just play back the good memories. But don't forget all the reasons they weren't right for you also. As someone who let a breakup dictate years of my life, here's my advice. Realize that the breakup is a good thing. If the other person couldn't realize what a rock star you are, now you are free to find someone who will. As others have said, don't listen to sad songs or songs that remind you of them. Don't believe the lie that you'll never find love again, or that you're unlovable. It's a big, fat lie. Don't beat yourself up over it. For me, getting rid of their stuff that I still had helped. Years later I found a book she had given me for my birthday, with a handwritten note inside. Seeing it hurt, but it felt cathartic throwing it away. Change your environment. I'm not saying move, you can if you want, but rearrange your living space. I moved after my breakup, lease was up, and found a better place, and realized how good it felt. Just want to re-emphasize number 3. Love is not a scarcity, it is an abundant resource. Time. Use generously in all your food seasoning, and you should start feeling better within a couple of years. R/homonym. It's always the other one. It fades with the passing of the seasonings. Block them everywhere you have a connection. Start something new that you always wanted to try: art, dance, yoga, tai chi, a sport, or take a class or a course. Immerse yourself in something new is the idea. Second, dance. I started dancing after a rough patch, and it's changed my life. Edit, in fact, anything that helps you express yourself, i.e. playing an instrument, drawing, etc. I love you, Francine. If you were with me, you wouldn't be here in this strip club, shaking it for dollar bills. It will pass. True, I just hate the feeling now. It's mathematically impossible that there's not another person out there that will love you when you're ready. In the meantime, spend time with friends and or family, and let time heal the wounds. The problem with this is, will you love them too? I found someone while I was trying to move on. And now I am in a situation where someone loves me, and I don't love them back. Life is a funny thing sometimes. Unless your ex is the ball rogue. A ladder. Springboard works to right. Depends on how tall the person is. Or short. Nah, that's just to bounce back after. Wow. You are still with us. Thanks for being such a nice person. As long as you are here, why not like this video and subscribe to our channel? Also, you can press the bell icon, so you won't miss any future uploads.